Catholic Moments, episode 49.
Blooming, finding joy in the journey and hope in the heaven yet to come. Blooming.
Hello and welcome to Catholic Moments. And now, here's your host and my mom, Lisa Hendy.
Well, thank you, Eric, and welcome everyone to another episode of Catholic Moments, the podcast from CatholicMom.com, where we talk about all things faith, family, and fun from a Catholic perspective. I am so happy to be with you guys today. We're midway through May. It's May 14th as I speak, and May is, I've determined, the busiest month for the Hendy household, closely followed by September when we celebrate 2 birthdays and lots of other things, but May is just... It's been a crazy month, and if you'd like to hear just how crazy it's gotten around my house lately, you can head over to my productivityathome.com blog where I write this week about a super goofy thing that I did yesterday that involved me and gas and a Diet Coke and a gas tank pump. So if you'd like to hear about the misfortune that I had on Tuesday, you can head over to CatholicMom.com and take the links to Productivity at Home, and there you'll be able to read about how Lisa had a little tingle with the gas pump, and we will leave it at that. So needless to say, it's been kind of a goofy start to the week. Adam was off school on Monday, and he and I actually went to see Iron Man, which I know is based on the numbers of people that have seen it. Lots of you guys have probably seen it as well. The beginning of it was a little bit rough, and we had some interesting conversations about that aspect of it. Some of Iron Man's womanizing in the beginning of the movie. Adam is close to 14 now, and we do allow him to see screened PG-13 movies, and I've talked with some friends who I trust and read some reviews that led me to the decision to go ahead and see that movie with Adam. But we did have a lot of conversation before we went about, you know, what we were going to be seeing and what to expect. And it's always interesting to hear the boys' reactions in those types of conversations. So we saw Iron Man, and aside from that, it's been busy with end-of-the-year school things and lots of writing and good stuff. So we've got some secret projects brewing that I'll let you guys in on pretty soon, and it's all good. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into this week's Catholic Moments podcast interview, which is with Monica McConkey. And Monica is the founder and head of a website called Arma, and they do tremendous work for helping Catholic families with faith aid. So here's my interview with Monica McConkey. Our guest on today's Catholic Moments podcast is Monica McConkey, a wife and mother of 4, and the founder of the Arma publishing company. And how are you today, Monica?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. I am so happy to have you on our show today to tell our listeners a little bit more about the wonderful catechetical products that you're creating for Catholic families. And these are a great way for you to not only learn the faith, but also have some fun with your children along the way. So, Monica, why don't you start off by letting us know a little bit more about yourself and your family?
Great. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. So my name is Monica McConkey, and my husband and I have founded this apostolate, and it all began back in about 2000 when I began collecting ideas just to share with my own family and trying to figure out how we can pass on our faith in really fun ways in the home. So I began collecting the ideas, and once I tapped into the liturgical calendar, it just grew and grew into a 300-page book. So we began speaking to different publishers, and we prayed about it, and we decided to go the route of self-publishing. So we founded our own little publishing company, and we released the book, A Treasure Chest of Traditions for Catholic Families. So this book traces the liturgical calendar, and it offers ideas and activities to help families and the classroom celebrate the different seasons and feast days of the whole year. We've included ordinary time with all kinds of prayers and prayer habits and different catechism activities to bring the faith into daily life. We went from there to add a few other products, again in the line of very prayer-based and catechism-based activities. We have the Cathletics key cards, and these are a series of quizzing cards that are pretty fun. They're laminated, oversized cards with a little spinning flap, so the child can cover the answers and quiz themselves. And we have 18 of those different titles. We have Holy Communion, Reconciliation, Rosary, Daily Prayers, and they've been really fun and popular with different sacrament preparation programs. And we have an altar server card that's been very popular with priests for their all their
for the altar servers.
Yeah, so we went on from there, and we created our Cathletics craft kits. And I'll say that the term that we keep using is Cathletics, and that's a little a word that we came up with for a category of activities in the book.
I love that, Cathletics.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit more about how that ties in.
Well, I think we just it felt like a fun title to grab all these activities that are really catechism based, and it just kind of stuck and became a brand name for us. So we came up with the Cathletics key cards, as I mentioned, and then these Cathletics craft kits, which are sample activities from the book, but they're templates that are all ready to go. We had a lot of teachers saying, I love the book, but I don't have time to research and format, all these crafts. So these templates, we even give them a permission to photocopy for.
That's great. That's one of the questions I was going to ask you. So they can buy one kit and use it with an entire CCD class or Catholic school class or homeschooling group.
Yeah, we felt it was really important to make it accessible that way, and it's a really fun group activity. The kids, they color them. All they need are scissors and glue, and basically all the formatting is done, all the research is in there, and they're just packed with information, mainly catechism, and there are a few very prayer-based ones as well. So they've been very popular with different programs and homeschoolers.
I wanted to ask you about the spiritual bouquet, the flower petal kit, because we have Mother's Day coming up, and I remember as a young child, one of our favorite gifts was always making spiritual bouquets for mothers and grandmothers. And tell us a little bit more about that particular kit.
Well, I'm actually very excited about that kit because I actually, my little ones were doing this craft with me when they were 2 years old. They just, keeping their hands busy while praying was a great thing.
Exactly.
So, basically they say one decade of the rosary while they put together a really colorful flower. So I've given them templates that have all the different, 10 little petals for the Hail Marys, and the center is the Our Father, the stem explains all the mysteries, and the leaves are the Glory Be. And the kids, they cut them out and they glue each component to the flower as they say that prayer. So it's helping them keep track of the different prayers for one decade. And it also, my little daughter, my first daughter, is living proof that, she learned her prayers through that.
Through that particular craft.
Yeah, she was so excited to do that, and she picked it up that way. And then I also include in the kit, little clip art and different ideas so that they can make a little card. So if they're saying that, decade for a particular person, they can give someone the card with this colorful construction paper flower and share it that way. And because the prayers are even on the petals, the person knows exactly what they've been saying for them, and it's a really sweet gift.
It is. I love those homemade gifts at any time of the year. And I remember as a child feeling such a sense of pride at having been able to create something and give it to my own mother that, not only was a craft, but also that bore prayers with it. And I know that she always loved receiving those. So I think that particularly at this time of the year, that's a really wonderful thing that people can do. I wanted to ask you about the Cathletics playing cards as well.
Okay. So this is yet another product line of ours, and it can be used as a regular playing card deck, but also as flashcards, because all the numbered cards have different elements of our catechism and of our tradition and faith. So, every one is different. Like there's the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, there's another 7 that's the 7 sacraments. All the 5s are the 4 different sets of mysteries. So the idea is that, as you can play regular card games, and as you're waiting for your play, you're inevitably going to read something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little sneaky way of
such a great thing.
Visualization tool, even for friends who have maybe fallen away a little bit from their faith, but they're very graphically appealing. I think there's a lot of color, and it really attracts the attention of kids. And all the face cards are the Holy Family and the Trinity. So Joseph is the Jack, and Mother Mary is the Queen, and Jesus is the King, and of course God, the Trinity, is the Ace. So they're just learning really with every step, but they're also very fun to use.
So if you're playing Go Fish, you can say, "Do you have any Marys?"
Right. Yeah.
So wonderful. I love that. Well, all of the products are available for purchase through your website, right? That's how people can get a hold of them.
That's right.
And that's www.armadei.com, and it's ARMADEI.com, and we're definitely going to have links in our show notes to get a hold of that. Now, I know that you're based in Canada, so
right.
You take PayPal through the website, right?
I do, and some people feel more comfortable, calling or mailing, and we take checks as well, made payable to Monica McConkey.
Great. And the products are delivered by PDF file, is that correct?
No, we send them by mail.
So these are actual products that they'll
right.
get a package in the mail. And I did want to have you mention for me real briefly one sort of unusual product line that you carry through the website, which is a wonderful book called Healing Saints of Medicine. Can you let us know a little bit more about that resource?
Sure. So this is the one product that we haven't created ourselves. A friend of ours is a physician, and he has researched this book, and it traces the association of different saints to the healing profession. And so every illness that you can imagine is in there, and there are different indices in the back so that you can look them up by either the saint or the illness or the feast day, just how it has all these really neat little stories about how each saint became associated with that illness. So it's a very neat book, and it's called The Healing Saints of Medicine.
And that's available there at the website as well. So,
That's
Monica,
right.
I really want to congratulate you on being, living out your faith in the home and making it so accessible for moms like me who I'm decidedly uncrafty. So I always love resources like yours that can make it so easy to share aspects of the faith with our children. And
thank you.
I just want to congratulate you and encourage you. And I know that you have stated on your website that if anybody has ideas or ways that they're using your products in the home, you'd like to hear from them about that as well. So,
yes.
So that's great.
One other product, can I mention?
Yes, please do.
We also have one other deck of cards, and they're called Reverence and Awe Collector cards.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and they are also, filled with graphics, and they have different illustrations of all the different vessels and vestments and sacramentals that we see at Mass on Sunday. And so my husband likes to call it, the kids' missal, because actually on the back of each card there's a different phrase from the Mass, so they can shuffle them and put them in order. And we're really trying to get them to look and listen at Mass. And we take this seriously from our own family.
Right. You have 4, so you
really
need tricks.
Tired as soon as they walk in that church, but if we can get them to tune in rather than tune out, that's
I think I know some grown-ups who might need the Reverence of Awe cards as well. So that's great. Well, all these products are available there at the website. Again, it's www.armadei.com. And I want to thank our guest, Monica McConkey, for the great work that you're doing and for taking time today to expose us to your apostolate.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you can take some time this week to head over to Monica's website. Again, it's armadei.com, and that's ARMADEI.com. And you can, of course, find links in our show notes over at catholicmoments.com or at sqpn.com. Links to find Monica's website and the other things that we mention here in the podcast.
Podcasting from a parking lot in the Woodlands, Texas, it's the Catholic Hack with Joe McClain.
Calling all certified scripture divers to dive deep into the faith. Hi, I'm Joe McClain. I'm inviting you to come and journey with us as we seek to give an answer for the hope that lies within. 1 Peter 3:15. This month we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary, and I would love to hear from you. Give me a call on the voicemail feedback line at 713-568-6277. Let me know how much this podcast has meant to you. And then come and listen on May 29th as we celebrate 1 year of placing our hope and trust in the pillar and foundation of truth, the Church of the Living God. 1 Timothy 3:15. CatholicHack.com.
I know that several of you already listened to Joe's wonderful podcast over at CatholicHack.com. Joe, I feel a very much of a fondness for Joe, not only because of his wonderful show, but also because he and I joined SQPN right around the same time as affiliates right before Christmas this year. So he's like my SQPN brother, and it's so fun to be able to hear that he's getting really close to celebrating his first anniversary of podcasting. We have a ways to go for that. We won't be celebrating that until later in the summer, but I want to encourage you to check out Joe's podcast, and that if you are a regular listener, I would love for you to call Joe and just leave him your feedback about what his show has meant for you. You know, you've heard it from many of the podcasters that you listen to, but your feedback is really what drives us. It's our pay, it's our inspiration, and it's really what motivates us to keep going and to take time out of our schedules each week to produce these shows for you. It's not the whatever the fame and glory of being a podcaster, but rather the fact that we know that we're spreading our faith, we're spreading our excitement about our relationships with Christ, and that we're reaching people and that we're reaching hearts and touching and inspiring people. So I know that Joe does that for me, and I will be calling him and leaving my feedback later today, and I hope you'll do that as well.
Hi, Lisa. It's Kerry, the Catholic Parish Media Liaison, calling you with an update. This week in my blog, my Make the Connection pick to strengthen your faith is a movie. It's called Bella. It was released last year in theaters and recently released on DVD. I went to see it in the movie theater with my daughter, and we enjoyed it thoroughly. It's a great movie that makes a positive difference in people's lives, and you just leave the film feeling great. So check out my blog, and you will see a link to an interview on the Today Show last week with the main character from the movie on YouTube. And you'll also see a link to the movie itself, where you can watch the trailers, see the interviews with the actors and producers, and even purchase the DVD. It's also available in stores now as well, and on Amazon.com. I hope you enjoy the movie as much as I did, and wishing you the best. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.
Well, thanks, Carrie. I am so ashamed to say that I haven't actually seen Bella yet, but it's on my wish list to see, and I'm hoping that sometime before next week's podcast, I'll actually make that happen so I can contribute my thoughts to the conversation about Bella as well. I'm going to have links to Carrie's great blog, and I want to thank her again for being our parish media liaison. She's doing such a wonderful job of promoting not only our podcast, but also just bringing information to us about great things that are out there in the Catholic new media. And speaking of the new media, it's a time for me to remind you again about our upcoming Catholic New Media celebration being sponsored by SQPN.com and the Rosary Army. And that event's going to be held on June 22nd in Atlanta, Georgia, in conjunction with and following the Diocese of Atlanta Eucharistic Congress. And I am so excited to see all the people who are going to be joining us for the event. It's really filling in. And if you take a look at the website at celebration.sqpn.com, you can take a look at the program. It's really starting to be lined up, and find out about some of the participants who are going to be there. And not only just the people on the panels, but also people who are signing up to be in attendance. I am so excited about some of our CatholicMom.com columnists who are going to be there, and many of the others of people that I deal with online that I've had conversations with for years over email and things like that, and I'm going to get a chance to meet them in person. So I am just so excited, and I hope you'll consider joining me at the Catholic New Media Celebration, and again, that's June 22nd, and you can find out the information at celebration.sqpn.com. Well, again this week, it's my joy to share another Catholic deacon moment from our favorite Catholic deacon, Deacon Tom Fox. And this week, Deacon Tom has a wonderful reflection for us. I hope you'll sit back and enjoy it, and that you'll join me in visiting Deacon Tom's website, which is www.deacontomonline.com. And here's Deacon Tom.
Believe it or not, in the parish where I'm assigned, there is a lady parishioner who often kisses my hand after liturgies. Yes, I know it sounds strange. It comes from old European and Orthodox customs. I know that I'm not worthy of this, and I've tried to tell the woman to stop or not do it. She says, "Your hand has touched the Lord." That lady extends a certain dignity to me for the ministerial role and tasks that I perform. I tell you this story because it leads me to tell you another story from Catherine Doherty, the foundress of Madonna House. She was the daughter of well-to-do Russians just prior to the revolution. When she was about 10 years of age, she was walking along outside of town and saw the village priest lying in the dirt at the side of the road. Catherine ran home to tell her mother, "Mommy, Mommy, the Monsignor is on the road and he's drunk, drunk, drunk." Catherine's mother said, "Is that so? Then let's go get him." They retraced Catherine's steps until they came to him. Before they started to rouse him, Catherine's mother kissed the dirty hand of the priest. Of course, young Catherine saw this and took note of it. They helped drag and lead the priest to the rectory, where they handed him over to the person in charge. When they got to their own home, Catherine's mother asked her to bring a baby's potty, fill it with water, and bring it to her. When Catherine did so, the mom gathered a bunch of spring lilies from the garden. After preparation, she put them in the pot and said, "Look at that. The white lilies don't change, though they sit in a potty instead of a beautiful vase. Always remember that the white lily is Christ, the Christ who never changes, the Christ who is the priest in a special way. Yes, the priest might be the potty, but the Christ is in him and always remains just like those lilies. Never in your life make the mistake of mixing the two together." I remember this story when I think about Peter, who was given his dignity back after denying Christ. In the last years, we've been witness to priests who have lost their vocation or their bearings. But I've also been witness to healed and restored priests. Today's story from Catherine Doherty's childhood ought to help us see that weakness and brokenness aren't signs of total failure in our clergy or in us. Far from it. Love him or like him or in struggles. How about a note to your parish priest? Tell him thanks. Tell him you honor Christ present in him. And Lisa, you don't have to kiss my hand. This is Deacon Tom. Blessings.
Okay, Deacon Tom, I want to thank you not only for that Catholic deacon moment, but also just for the ongoing gift of your friendship, even though you did tease me this week about my episode with the gas tank and the Diet Coke. Before we head out of here for another week of Catholic mom craziness, and who knows what the next week of the month of May will hold for me and for you, I'm sure too, I want to let you know about 3 brand new podcasts that we have going on over at the sqpn.com StarQuest Production Network. And these 3 podcasts, each of them are very unique in their own ways. The first is Catholic Magazine, and this is a digest podcast put together by the great folks from the Rosary Army, Greg and Jennifer, and it features some of the voices that you'll read regularly over at the blogs at rosaryarmy.com. And those voices are brought to life and shared in podcast form. And if you love NPR and the things that go on there, I know you're going to love Catholic Magazine. The next new podcast is The Secrets of Battlestar Galactica, and this is another great addition to the SQPN lineup of Secrets of podcasts, which take a look at relatively secular topics like TV shows, such as Battlestar Galactica, from a religious and spiritual perspective. And our great friend Xena and her husband are the hosts of the Secrets of Battlestar Galactica, so I'm certainly going to check that out. I have to say I've never watched the TV show, so I need to do that first so I understand what they're talking about, but I think it's a really fun idea. And the final installment is something that just happened today over at sqpn.com, and that's the addition of a brand new video podcast, which is called Grace Before Meals. And this podcast features Father Leo Padalinghung, who is a priest in Roman Catholic Diocese and also an expert chef, the writer of a cookbook and the head of a PBS television show on faith, families, and cooking. So I hope you'll check out Grace Before Meals at sqpn.com as well. To close out this week's podcast, and as our prayer for this week, I'd like to share one of my favorite recordings of the song Hail, Holy Queen, in honor of our Blessed Virgin Mary during her month of May. The song is, of course, sung by one of my favorites, Angelina, and I hope you'll join me in contemplating the beauty of this song and the words of that particular prayer as we ask Our Lady for peace in our world, peace in our hearts, peace in our homes, for the blessings of all of our families, and to bring our hearts closer to her Son, Jesus. So thank you for another week of Catholic Moments. I wish you all the best with this week, and until next week, God bless you.
Hail, Holy Queen, enthroned above all Maria. Hail, Mother of mercy and of love, all Maria. Triumphal, ye cherubim, sing with us, ye seraphim. Heaven and earth resound the hymn. Salve, salve, salve Regina. Triumphal, ye cherubim, sing with us, ye seraphim. Heaven and earth resound the hymn. Salve, salve, salve Regina. Salve, salve, salve Regina.
SQPN, leading the way in Catholic new media.